Okay, so I've started working on the front fenders here, and I started out by making this edge here. They were all smashed and banged up. So I straightened this edge out, got this line fixed up so I can use it for my measuring point. And I found out that by measuring the distance between the outside of the back tires and the outside of the front tires, I've got to step the tires out an inch on either side. And see how they're tucked way under here, and the backs look proper. The distance between them is actually 4 inches wider at the back than it is at the front, and I don't really want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put spacers behind the tires to move them out, and by doing that means I don't need to split this here at all, because moving the tire out gives me the clearance I need, so when I'm in full turn it's not going to touch the inner fender. Saves me a ton of work. I'm glad I measured twice. So I've got this fender straightened out. I'm just going to go and do the other one now and see how far I get today. I plan on using the Ford shocks. These here, they're a hydraulic. I thought they were a friction shock, but they're actually hydraulic. So I'm going to end up using them. So when I do, I've got to make the fender fit around the shock. That's going to take a bit of figuring out because I do not want a bubble in the fender around the shock. So I'm going to have to make the fender look, you know, like it was made in 1927, not this year. So yeah, both these fenders were, like this one was creamed really bad right down here. It was caved right in. So I spent a little time hammering it out. I'm actually only going to use this outer edge. I'm probably going to replace everything right here. From there down, I'll probably end up replacing that because it's really dinged up and pitted bad. There's a few rot holes in it, so I'll just cut that out and make new. Okay, I'll get some more work done and show you what I come up with. Okay, so I've got the first two patches made up for the fender. I'm just going to replace the whole bottom of the fender. This here whole section, I'm just going to replace it because it's all caved in, been bashed to shreds. So I just made these just a simple little folded panel, stretch the edge to get the same shape as the outside here. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to cleco them together, trace them out, get it welded up. And the trick is going to be making sure I have the fender straight. So that's my next bit of work to do, and then I'll just keep trimming until I have them both ready to butt weld together. On my back fenders there, I did like a lap weld. I wish I didn't, but I've learned a lot since I did them. So now it's going to be butt weld, and it just so much easier to clean up. So I got the fenders all welded up now. Just putting some stuff in here to make sure everything's going to fit the way I want it to. Using the original Dodge Rad shroud housing. New aluminum rad for it though. The shocks, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. I've got a set of 32 to 38, I think they are, Ford hydraulic shocks, but trying to get them to fit up underneath the fender, because I do not want to put no humps in the fender for shocks. I don't like that. So if I can figure out a way of getting them to work under here without messing with the fender, I'll probably use them. But if not, I've got to try and figure out how to make this work, because there's not enough space underneath the fenders for those shocks. They're kind of close together in here, but if that's what I got to do, I will do it that way. So this is all going to be part of the fender itself. I'm going to bring this down, and somewhere in here I'll cut this off, bring it down, and make them bolt together. But the fender's turned out pretty good so far. So all the seams, this time I just butt welded them together, ground them out, and worked way better than what I did with the back fenders with the making a flange and welding them together. This is going to be so much easier to do the body work on. The fiberglass will be so thin. And just a thin coat of fiberglass, maybe a touch of body fill in a couple of spots, but mostly just high build primer will cover everything. Gonna use that style headlight right there. I'm not quite sure where they're gonna fit. This thing right here is the original mount for the Dodge headlights, but they look like a cooking pot, so they're kind of like ugly. So I'm thinking somewhere right there for the headlights. Yeah, I think so. Instead of back here. Back here it just doesn't look right. So I'm just kind of getting ideas on how I want to build the rest of the front end. And then it'll be, after that, I got some plexiglass, so I'm going to make up temporary windows. The sheet's too small, the glass. I want to make sure that I can get the glass in and out after I put the door skin on. Because if I can't, I've got to change my design there. So that's why the door skin's not on yet. I've got them made up, they're over in the corner, but I didn't put them on because I may have to change that. Now that I got some plexiglass, I can cut it to the size of the actual window. Make sure I can take it in and out without taking the door skin off. Then I can finish off the doors. This was the quarter panel window from the car. I didn't get doors with it, so I had to make the doors. The window regulators, I think I mentioned them in an earlier video. They're out of like a 2003 Mazda. Mazda 3, that's what it was. They used to have a curve in the metal piece here that the cables ride up and down. The glass actually rides up and down on that track. I just took them and pressed them flat. Took the curve out. They work great. So I think once the front fenders are done, I'll be moving on to the doors, because I still haven't figured out what I want to do with the roll pan yet. I don't want it to just look like chopped off, so I gotta put something in there. Okay, so please watch and subscribe, click the like button, leave a comment, and share. Thanks for watching.